おはようございます。皆さん。こんばんは。こんにちは。Hi. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good morning. Wherever it is you are, I hope you're having a nice day. Yeah. So, jeez. Let me test something real quick. Okay. Everything should be good, right? You should be able to see me on a more of a night light than usual. Actually, let me turn on the lamp behind me. Yeah. So, where do I even start? I don't feel like there's anyone here. And lately I've not been archiving my streams anyway. So, it'd be awkward to just release this archive and not the others. They're all in YouTube, they're just private. And I'm really afraid that if I just release them all, like a day, people will be like, hey, what the fuck? Unsub. Because that happens, I've done that. I've seen multiple uploads in a day and be like, I don't want my feed to be fucked for the day. And then forget to resub. I mean, I guess for now, since we can easily, comfortably assume that there's no one here, let's do some Heisei Kanji. I had stopped for a couple of days. Yep. I did realize that that's not how I want to go about things. In fact, well, I realized there's a couple of things that I just did not like very much how I was doing. So I like to change that starting today. In fact, in the title, I did put Satsudan. Satsudan. Right, which is usually chit-chat, just talking. Because I did want to converse or talk about some thoughts that I've had lately regarding my studies and how I'd like them to change, why I would like them to change, and some other stuff, which I'll probably end up doing a highlight of, and that will in fact be on YouTube. Actually, I do also want to make a video to change exclamation mark method and make another video a bit more, not very much, not super heavily edited, but edited enough so that it looks clean enough and I do explain my points clearly, because it's been bothering me a lot lately. But again, because there's no one now right here, this is gonna be chilling, doing some Heisei Kanji for a bit. As usual, I already did most of my flashcards this morning during class, because I was not really learning anything new. Should I be admitting that? Probably not, but hey. So yeah, I'm gonna be chilling for a bit, then my 5 Heisei Kanji of the day. Because I really do enjoy doing this. After all. So yeah. 後で、第一ではないけど、話があります。話したいことがあります。まあ、今は誰もこの配信を見ないって言いませんですけど、だからあと漢字練習の後でその話します。とりあえずただのんびり 漢字練習をします。はい、今日はポディウムから、はい、So we have counter for occurrences and daybreak. So we have land, a top hat, counter for occurrences, and a daybreak. I know that should be solid ground, top hat times night break. Yeah, I'm gonna fit. I actually know what night break, daybreak, what words you use in English. I just used the Spanish word. I'm gonna fit. So, with kanji as difficult as this one, it is generally pays to toy with the various connotation of primitives before settling on one image, and for as much simplicity as you can. Kyodan. None. Hi. Kyodan. No. Okay. Sure.
What's good, Dallas?
Oh, there we go. Hold on. Let me balance you out on the stream because I'm pretty sure I put a cap. Konbanwa.
Konbanwa. Okay, desu ka? I guess I shouldn't be using formal with you, should I?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, between that, there's probably no need. Hi, Genki desu. Genki. まあ、あんまり元気ないけど、ね。最近悩んでいます。悩んでることはあります。ある。Jeez, I've been trying to practice so much my polite that it's becoming a habit.
Oh, well, that's how you want to do it.
Yeah, because I was scared with anime and stuff. They tell you, yeah, no, you're gonna learn some really rude Japanese, some non-usable Japanese. And so the moment I learned this and mas, I was like, okay, from now on, we're gonna be using it.
It's a good idea, yes. That's how I started, anyways.
So, yeah.
In fact, I kind of had to learn backwards, learn the informal, which is what a lot of the grammar is based upon. So that was a bit difficult.
Right.
About halfway through the first year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I showed you the highlight the other day where I was like, "Nanka sa."
Yeah.
Kawaii John.
Yeah.
Oh.
You
John.
can be a bit rough.
Yeah.
If you don't have an ear for it, right? And all the whole the noun ki and the verb naru.
Oh.
You know, the meaning completely changes depending on which particle you use. It's actually frustrating.
Kininaru. That's the one I'm used to, like kininaru, right? In terms of
Yeah,
concern,
that's the one
bother,
that's the
or
most
interest, right?
Yeah. Because, like, it became interesting to me.
Right.
It became on my mind, is kind of like what it means.
Yeah. Are they? Wait, I've never heard it with other particles. What would be kyonaru?
I believe so, yeah. It's been a while, though. I'm out of practice.
I have no clue what that would even mean. Oh, no, yeah, no result.
Oh, okay. I might be wrong. It could be different verbs instead. It's been ages. It
Yeah,
seems like
yeah.
you're on some pretty complex kanji now, huh?
I'm just saying.
Well, some of them.
I'm just in James Heisig right now.
I see the I think I see the N in koen, and obviously there's kai.
Yeah. But I also, so usually I've been learning kanji with also this memo, right? So in this memo, every time I'm doing immersion, which is mostly from anime, streams, and Terrace House in...
Oh yeah, I see Manabu and Sonzai, Shumi, yeah, lots of good stuff in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really just like uketoru, especially like Manabu, Kantan. Like Kantan is just I kind of want to learn the kanji.
Yeah, Kantan is definitely not very kanji-wise.
Well, it's just kan, right, with the bamboo on top, and this is pretty simple as well.
Yes.
It's okay. So right now, because I'm assuming at the beginning here, there's not gonna be anyone. Mostly because since I had classes this morning, and usually I've been streaming every morning. It's also a change in schedule, so I don't expect my usual viewers or anything to be here. So it's like, okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So right now I'm just kind of, because the last 2 days I've been trying to play a visual novel, right?
Oh, which one have you been trying to play?
Oh yeah. Ano Kanata no for rhythm. So
Okay.
yeah, for rhythms across the blue, I believe. Aokana is the usual name they give it. It's pretty simple. It's slice of life-ish on a high school on an island, but there's like this gimmick that there's like these anti-gravity shoes, and there's like a sport with that, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But usually they use gravi shoe and stuff like that with katakana, so it's not really complex. It also has a short, it also has a 12 episode short anime, in which I found some files in which I can watch the anime without subtitles, so I can practice hearing and reading more or less the same content.
Excellent. Good.
So that's why I was.
About volume, by the way, I'm pretty low compared to you.
In terms of what?
I'm quite low volume.
I guess I can turn you up here. I did put a limiter on desktop audio because the visual novel they get quite loud.
That's fair enough. I mean, can't you go into the volume mixer and just turn it down?
Yeah, I think you should be better now. Give it a try, I guess.
Yeah, that's about right. At least for now.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. No one ever says shit for audio. And one time there was like, there was a loud sound came up, and I started speaking a little bit of Spanish because that person was learning Spanish, and my volume went down, and it was like, I cannot hear you. I was like, what? Why doesn't no one ever tell me anything about audio? I hate it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just one of those things you gotta check your volume meters.
Yeah.
In OBS.
I think I figured out like the ideal volume in terms of how I want it. Usually I want music at -40 decibels, and that's usually that's where my limiter is, and nowadays I find it quite well. My usual voice goes around -20. Yours at first was like a -30 or so you're right.
Yeah, I'm a fairly quiet voice, actually.
Yeah, I did turn you up on Discord as well.
And part of the problem is my preamp is trash, so, you know.
Yeah, I guess. Your preamp?
Literally trash. I got it like 40% price at a Guitar World or wherever. And the reason why is because it was all absolute garbage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you know, it works. So that's all I can ask for, really.
I don't know why I'm hearing you worse than usual. I guess because usually you initiate the call. How about you call me on Discord and see if that improves? Why not?
All right.
Okay. We're gonna be there later on anyway. Ah, there we go.
Oh, is it better now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
At least it feels better, yeah, for now.
Alright, well, yeah. I realize I'm distracting you from your kanji study.
Oh no, I was trying to figure out a way to think of podium, and right now for some reason I'm thinking of like cowboys and like at least the Lone Ranger, and I'm picturing this guy with a top hat, right, on top of a podium, right, to open to new land, a train or something, and I picture it up as the sun is starting to rise. I just don't know where Kai counter comes from. Where does it fit?
I think you got the right idea. Just make it a microphone.
Oh, I could make it either a microphone or like the train from in front, I guess.
I mean, you could do that, but I mean, you've obviously got the hat, and the Kai symbol is the head, and the Nietzsche is the podium, I think, and you just put a microphone in front of it, a boom mic.
Sure. Yeah, that'll work. Now I just need to put it on my flashcards and let it. Podium. Yeah, but usually that's how the streams have been going for, because so the streams usually have been going like this, right? I start with my kanji, usually flashcards that I already finished this morning though, and then I do this, right? I add a couple from Heisek, I add a couple from my list, and then usually I moved on to Taiken's grammar guide, but I already finished that. So I decided to go into the visual novel, but then I realized, mada hayai.
It's too early for that, yeah.
I mean, I can understand most of the things, and I'm picking up words because I look at their frequency, and the more frequent they are, I put the mark next to them, and I'm picking up certain words and certain kanji. But there's something that's been bothering me a lot lately. Want to take a guess on what that is?
Well, yeah, it's kind of broad, but if you don't have much of a context for anything, even the most frequent words or the lack of grammar is going to be difficult to pick out what words mean what.
No, I mean, I already finished the grammar guide.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Give me a sec.
Yeah, no problem.
Alright, sorry about that. So you had asked me to guess what the issue we're running into was. You already did it with the visual novel in particular, right?
Not in particular with the visual novel. I guess when I started realizing
I don't know. Nothing really comes to mind at first. I guess it could be slang, or it could be some grammar forms you hadn't run into before, just vocabulary in general.
So, intonation.
Oh, intonation. Okay, so accents and such.
Pitch accent, particularly, yeah. Lately, it's been driving me crazy.
Yeah, accents are something you don't even really want to mess with until you can understand most speaking, right?
I mean, I actually can pick up quite a bit of speaking as long as they're like not too complicated words, right? It depends on the content. So, I was gonna say content. Conversations, right? I can pick up most of it, if not everything. It's just when, for example, earlier this morning I was watching someone play near Replicant, right? And when he introduced the stream, I was like, oh, no problem. This is easy. I can understand pretty much everything, and I can even pick up new words like, what was it? Shushinko, I believe, for like main character or protagonist.
Oh, okay,
right?
Interesting.
So I was able to pick up words like that, right? That was cool. It's just when he's reading or something and something like that, and it gets harder, then yeah, of course I cannot follow. Like I'm still pretty much a beginner. I was gonna say Shushinsha.
Right.
And there are a couple of reasons why this pitch accent thing has been bothering me lately, right? I think it's mainly three. First of all, it's driving me nuts because when I'm doing immersion, sometimes I feel like I properly hear it, that I'm getting used to it, and for the most part that's the case, but sometimes I hear something, I look it up immediately, and I'm so off, completely off.
Okay.
And that has been happening for like a while already, before I even started the stream. And now it's starting to the point where it's just overflowing a bit and just getting to the point where it's just frustrating. Like, can I really not hear pitch? Am I really that dumb?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. The pitch is particularly difficult to listen to if you're not paying attention to it. It's kind of like something you feel rather than something you hear.
Yeah.
Is my understanding of how it works.
I know I need to train my ear, and I'm probably like jumping the gun into stuff, because I really am like listening to podcasts while like doing chores and stuff. Like I found some Japanese podcasts and stuff.
Oh, very good.
I really am trying to train my ear constantly every day. So, but I guess I'm getting frustrated because it's not getting results, because it's training over time, right? You get accustomed to that.
Yeah, well, part of the problem too, when you're dealing with real people with real podcasts and such, is there's a lot of variety in terms of the Japanese that you're going to end up hearing. And normally, when you want to learn with media at a beginner level, you don't jump straight to the news or to podcasts or anything like that. You jump to media which are targeted towards an audience with a plain expectation. And that was a very weird way of putting it in English. But what I'm trying to say is, either it's meant for beginners, like I say ESL, but where you're learning a language that's not native, right? Or when you're trying to have a character or a person in a play or something who is supposed to be normal, so they're deliberately written to be the least complex, to have the most normal and apt speech pattern that anyone will be able to recognize, to the point of it being boring. And this is, as I'm sure you'll recognize, the defining trait of most protagonists.
Right.
So usually if you base the way that you're learning off the way that the protagonist talks, you're going to at least be able to have a solid foundation on which to build off. Right? See what I'm saying?
Sort of. Yeah, I'm kind of following, yeah.
Like, for example, if I learned from how I spoke from the people in my area of where I live, I would be speaking with a pretty thick Southern accent, but I don't.
Right. Also doesn't help that. Well, I found another podcast that it's clearly Kansai.
Yes.
That doesn't help either. But what bothers me is that usually when I'm paying attention to Jackson, also I'm watching anime, because I got into the point where I'm so used to subtitles, I can read it instantly and then pay attention to what they're saying and see if they correlate. And the moment I recognize a word, I'm like, okay, with what pitch accent did they say it? And that's where the mistakes are coming from. Which there are usually words that I've heard plenty of times.
You know, one of my friends in Japanese class in college learned kanji exactly the way that you do. In the sense where he would draw a picture, the professor would always want him to explain how he had drawn his characters. I remember in particular his explanation for Yomu was something about a spider reading a book. You know, God bless his soul. I have no idea how he saw that.
Yeah. What?
But that's what he saw, and so that's what we all remembered. For me, it was just rote memorization. I just wrote it down so many times my muscle memory kicked in.
So for me, this is to say, right? And this is already to sell, right? Uru and ureru. Why this is to sell, it's like another story in itself, but when someone is saying or reading like this monotonous voice to, like, saying something in this monotonous voice to sell, right, sponsors, they're probably reading off a script. And I've gotten so many sponsors videos and stuff on YouTube, like listening and reading, you know, the usual content I consume. I was like, okay, sure.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
There is usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, there is sometimes a connection like that, a genuine connection. Most of the times there's not, though. Most of the times it feels fairly arbitrary. But sometimes you get connections like those, especially with the simpler ones.
Sometimes I've seen kanji and I'm like, whoa, this makes so much sense, because this and that, then correlate, and like, whoa. But I get those moments like once a week at best.
There are also some that you run into that you'll be able to recognize when you see them, but you know, recalling how to write them from memory is very difficult. Like for me, Saibon is one of them.
Oh yeah, no, I've had that problem quite a bit. That's why I have both aspects of the flashcards in Highsec, with the kanji and the word.
Well, you're not alone. I mean, even native Japanese have trouble remembering how to write kanji now because the computer will do it for them.
Yeah, no, even I can get carried away when I'm using a Japanese keyboard or on my phone sliding. It's like, oh, I cannot complete. I need to choose one of these three that's giving me the option to. I know exactly which one I want to use.
Exactly.
But hey, maybe this kanji practice will pay off. I don't know. I probably won't need to write it. This is probably not useful in terms of application later, but it does help me memorize because this is how I've learned all my life.
Well, that's the goal, yes. The more senses that you use, seeing, I mean, you can't taste it, but, you know, if you write the word orange while you're eating an orange, I guess maybe that would help you remember what it looks like. Or you write the word orange in all your oranges, so you remember whenever you see an orange, you notice the symbol's not there. Yeah, I don't know. Stuff like that, right?
Right.
Now, I know orange doesn't have a particular kanji associated with it, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's all kinds of very interesting ways that work better for some people than others. But I am quite impressed with how seriously you are taking this.
Yeah, I honestly, I think that's just mainly because I finally moved out, and my mother really never liked this.
That's understandable.
I guess, I don't know. There are multiple reasons why I'm taking this so seriously, which I don't want to talk about on stream. If anything, I can tell you later.
That's fine, no worries.
Okay. We're going back to pitch accent then. I do know that it was probably not the best idea for me to jump into that. I did think I was like more an intermediate level-ish because I'm so used to listening to Japanese, right? Even if I'm reading subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watch so much anime, like Digit I am.
That sounds about right.
I thought, and you know, sometimes I can actually, in fact, kind of follow conversations. Like the other day, this podcast was giving love advice in a way, right? And multiple things, like what should I gift my girlfriend, right? Because I write a listener send them the letter, right? The usual typical thing. They're like, "Radio name," right? And then they'll read the thing. I like I can kind of sort of follow, so it's okay. It's just I have this feeling that if I listen to slower things and more basic things, it will stray further away from normal everyday Japanese. And then when I'm actually hearing like streams, which I constantly do and stuff, it will start being harder for me to follow, and I'll be constantly playing catch up, kind of like having a recording in my memory of what they said, and be like, okay, but then being hard to catch up in a way.
I think it's the opposite approach. You want to make it so that your foundations are strong, so that whenever you hear certain sounds vaguely in proximity to each other and in vague context, that you can piece together, oh, I didn't hear that particularly correctly, but I'm pretty sure that's what they meant. And so your brain will start filling in the gaps like it does with every other language that you learn. So even when you run across someone who has a weird accent, or someone who, you know, stutters on their words or cuts a syllable like Chilean Spanish, that you will, or Puerto Rican Spanish for that matter, God help us. No offense, Puerto Ricans, but your Spanish is atrocious. You run into that sort of situation where you have strong fundamentals, but your brain kind of piece it together. The more that you can rely on autopilot, the better you're going to be at recognizing language. So going slow better is much better than trying to start fast.
Actually, that kind of brings me to what I'm gonna try to be doing from now onwards, in terms of like overall practicing listening much more. That's mainly the end goal, and that's what I wanna at the end of the stream be able to properly convey, because that's why I think jumping into the visual novel was fast, right? What a highlight. Because not mainly because I cannot understand it, or like because I'm clearly quite decent at kanji. Whenever I see it, I can copy it instantly because the order is already flows.
Yes, you've got the muscle memory for your writing. Yes.
Yeah, and I can see patterns and stuff, but I've noticed my listening is lacking. But yeah, well, I'm gonna get there. So, point number 2 in terms of like why pitch accent has been bothering me, and it's I no longer ever know if I'm properly saying it right. Having no feedback has been kind of driving me crazy in a bit. Like I've been looking for apps, Audacity or something, and nothing really satisfies me. Because sometimes I did feel like I said it right. I know it's heaven. But something in my brain is making it put like this weird accent, this weird thing. It's not computing properly. In fact, the easiest time I have when listening for stuff are the onakadaka, right? That go down, because that's almost like they have an accent in English, right? Taberu.
Sure.
Right? I just feel like be has an accent like taberu, and I have like a really easy time with that. But when it's between heman and atamadaka, I've been struggling, and I don't know why. It bothers me. And when I'm saying it loud, I think I'm saying it loud, but then I realize by comparing to, because I didn't hear that word in anime or something, I compare it like, wait, hold up, huh? Have I been saying it wrong all this time?
Well, that's somewhat true. Pitch accents are tough. I know I have one. I think I got to the point where I just stopped caring, because at some point, like Dallas, I'm sure that you realize that you've been speaking English for God knows how many years,
15.
fluently.
Oh,
And-
fluently.
Well, you know, approaching fluidity, but yes, yeah, fluently. And you still have an accent. Like, it's not, you know, it's not something you're ever going to be able to get rid of. I feel
Yeah.
the same way about pitch accents. There's not really, I mean, I'm sure there's a normal way to say it, but I'm not sure there's a right way to say it. If you follow me correctly. You'll recall we were doing the YJ practice.
Yeah,
But even then, you know, it's just natural.
yeah.
So I keep pronouncing things in my English way, or in the way that I learned from class, which is essentially don't stress anything, which helps even out the pitch. Because some Americans can speak very, very heavy accent-wise,
The initial
pitch-wise, I guess I should say. Because
Yeah.
usually, right, in most languages, most Western languages like Spanish and English, you usually place the accent for long words on the third to last syllable,
Yeah.
right? That's just how Latin languages work, and also Germanic languages. It's just how they function. Japanese doesn't work that way, of course. So one of the easiest way to get people to, you know, level out is just say don't stress anything.
It's just flat. It's just flat.
Now you sound absolutely bored and like you have no personality at all. But then you're trying to learn off the protagonist, so what do you think was going to happen?
Right.
And then once you kind of accept that, yeah, okay, the Japanese people are always going to see my Japanese as American or as foreign, right? I'm never going to be able to approximate that as much as I would like to, but that's fine, because really they just appreciate the fact that you're trying. Even with my god-awful broken Japanese, they'll still compliment me, even if it isn't true. So,
日本語上手ですね。
yeah, they'll tell me that, yeah, exactly. After I butchered, you know, progressive tense, you know, it's it's posturing, I know, but you get used to it, I guess.
とてもはい。I get it. I
The
guess
ones,
really.
the ones that know English, I find though, are much less. What's the word? They compliment you much less on language proficiency. I think it's more of an incentive, like, oh, your Japanese is very good. Please speak it more, because I can't understand the rest. You know? But maybe I'm reading a little too much into it.
I guess at this point we both are, huh?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what you have to do.
But yeah, I guess I'm
Having things
really
build up.
on the face of denial, right? Of that exact statement. That I do want to get close, because nowadays I know my English is far from perfect. I know, like today even I butchered saying, "Hey, can I get a bit of everything?" In terms of food, right, on the dining hall, and that bit came out like the weirdest sounding bit ever. It was like, it's okay, fine. Let me just raise my voice and probably say-
of something?
Not that bad, but it was pretty bad. Yeah.
Well, at least you're not German. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I know, but I know. Yeah, okay. Cool. But nowadays, I do kind of take pride in my English. Like, it's not perfect.
As you should. You did get
But-
quite a good score on your test, did you not?
Yes, I do believe my pronunciation, although like again not far from perfect, has gotten quite good over the years. Any comment on that? I can take it. It's okay. I'm a big boy.
No, I don't have a comment on that.
There you go.
I've already said everything I needed to, and I definitely wouldn't say it on stream.
Again, cause that still does bother me. Like, I do take some pride, but at the same time, I'm a little bit insecure about that.
Well, I mean, like I said, you know, there are some things that if I were to put you in front of Hooked on Phonics VHS and you were 6 years old, I could straighten you out, but now it's just not possible. This is just your accent.
Yeah, part of it, it's fine, it's cool, I accept it, right? At this point, it doesn't bother me. Like, I've gotten really used to listening to my own English.
That's
as much
good.
as I didn't like it at first. But yeah,
I too have gotten accustomed to listening to your English.
Oh, no way. Wow, thanks.
I know, right? Talking Spanish as little as that would help.
Well, you want to talk in Spanish?
I'd rather not, thank you. My Spanish is so rusty.
Comprensible. Well, yeah, the thing is, I started comparing my English, right, to something like, say, my object-oriented programming teacher, right, this morning. For example, I believe Indian, I think. The thing is, you can clearly tell he has an accent, like, in bad way, because he's trying to pronounce, like, he's a great teacher, okay, he's probably the best teacher I had, because this is the second class I got with him. He's trying to pronounce method, right, because that's a programming term, and he's like, it's kind of like, method.
Yeah, I can hear the Indian accent coming through, yeah.
Yes, and it starts bothering me because then I have an African teacher, and then I have like another Asian teacher, and like if they're teaching here, I don't know for how long they've been living here, for how long, right? It does bother me because it does take me away from the class. It does put me back. Right? It's a bit. There's this wall. So like I know. So then I go double check with Japanese, right, and make the comparison. Like, okay, so I know there's this wall, there's this thing that bothers me, like, it's there, it's automatic in my brain, there's nothing I can do about it. As much as the person is great. Like, if I believe that if I can keep studying pitch accent and I practice it and I properly try to handle it, like, it's not gonna be perfect ever. People are still eventually gonna be able to tell, oh, you're a foreigner, even more so because of the way I look, right?
But at least there won't be that twitch in their brain.
Yes, that's what bothers me. If I want to at least have fluent conversations, have like, it sounds weird when I try to say it loud, like real connections, right? Actually meet people that I can hang out with and I can eventually trust, because that's usually I've gotten used to things on the internet. I trust,
as we all have, I'm afraid.
Yeah, especially this last 2 years.
But of course, I won't mention that because then your stream will get taken down.
Yeah, but it's fine. Like, no one's watching.
Young Peruvians studying Japanese get stream taken down by impromptu guest.
So, I do believe it is important. I do believe it's something I wanna study, wanna look into, wanna not perfect, but work on. Control.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. So, and the final reason why it's been bothering me so much lately, right? It's because I really do enjoy Dolgen's videos, right? Dolgen's and no Dolga, right? On someone like Matt versus Japan and stuff, and I unfortunately been hearing and in contact with a lot of, how to say it, pitch accent propaganda in a way. In terms of like, this is something no one looks into, people overlook it, it's really important, place to study it, it's important, unlike...
Yeah, I know, you fall into that pit trap, don't you?
Yes,
realistically, nobody cares that much.
Yes, I know, and like, I even had a Japanese person in my stream, Kirishinai, so a comment like that.
Yes, exactly.
But the more I've been being influenced, right, and the more like I watch the videos, because it interests me. I want to learn about this. What is this, right? Because it's very interesting. Not only the kanji is fascinating, right? Because I really love kanji. What you can do with it.
It's quite artistic, isn't it?
Yeah. Then you learn about this new thing. Well, not being the most fascinating thing, I do want to eventually be able to get more into music and stuff, and really learn piano and stuff like pitch and tones do interest me because I've always felt like I'm tone deaf. I really am. Like I did not struggle with piano because for me it was like a rhythm game. I saw the patterns on the, I don't know what it's called actually in English. The sheet, I guess, the music sheet.
Yeah.
The notes, and I just each one corresponds to a single note, a key, right? I just can play through that. But I've never. Sometimes I couldn't really tell, and it's been bothering me. So like when listening to music, I've always tried, and lately I've been also trying to match the tone, match the pitch, as well, because that's something I really like. So like. I guess like it's not really my thing to study pitch, but it does quite interest me, and I think it's quite relevant, and it's important that I do it not only for Japanese but for music as well later on. So like,
I hear you.
I fell into this trap, and the more I think about it to like maybe try to think my way out of it, I just fall more into it.
Yeah. Basically, what I would suggest is you put it off to the side, not consider it for now. The most important thing, and what's going to get you the more experience, is nailing the fundamental parts of the language, the grammar, and being able to carry on a conversation. Grammar, vocabulary, and, quick recall, memorizing various phrases, those sorts of things, and just acting through conversations until it becomes, second nature to you. That's the best to get you talking to people in Japanese. Which is what you want to do, because then that's how you learn, is with other people.
But the thing is,
a support network in a way.
Much like on point one, I feel like right now I cannot properly hear the pitch accent. Like I'm hearing it completely wrong, and I cannot properly say it. So if I cannot properly perceive it, because I'm not properly trained it, how am I really gonna learn from that?
Who cares?
I care.
I know you care. I'm saying who cares because there's more important things to learn right now.
Yeah,
your time is better spent learning, how to carry a conversation than how to speak in a pitch accent, which realistically you're never going to be able to get rid of. I appreciate your aspirations, don't get me wrong, but I don't want you to just ram yourself into a wall and get fatigued,
Yeah, no, I've also been feeling that a bit in a way. But
exactly.
Dallas,
I know a little more than you give me credit for, okay?
Yeah. Do you hear me out, please? Cause
okay, I'll let you speak. This is your stream. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you don't have to say it like that.
You got a mute button, don't you?
So here's something that has been bothering me lately, as regarding my, in a way, philosophy or way I've got about learning Japanese, right? That was probably not very well phrased, not phrased very well. See, not even in English I can, jeez.
But you have been studying another language for the past hour or so, right? So give yourself some slack.
Here's the thing, I've always been saying that Heisei kanji is not the best way to learn kanji. Many people have said so, and there's been critiques, right? So I was like, I don't care. This is fun. This is interesting. It's giving me a lot of tools. It's giving me a good base. Same thing with Taikim. It's not very practical because it's not teaching you the usual phrases and things you're probably gonna be hearing a lot. It's just teaching you grammar from the very basic, like from a Japanese way. Again, building a strong base. So I'm always thinking like, okay, my method is very slow, but it's gonna give me this very strong base that later on, because I'm learning by myself, I have no classes, no other input, I have nothing. Having this very strong base is gonna be my forte. It's gonna be the thing I can always rely on. Once I was done with the grammar, and I'm getting better and better at kanji, I was like, yeah, sure, let's jump into the visual novel. But then it's when it hit me like, by disregarding pitch accent and properly saying things, I feel like I'm not being true to myself in terms of, I'm not true to myself, not true to what I believe in, building a strong base, because without learning properly how everything is said, because like in Hatsuan, or like the way to pronounce things, because it's similar to Spanish, I had no problem with, right, for the most part.
Sure.
But I'm completely misregarding pitch accent, and I feel like that's just irresponsible. And without
That's
that, I cannot fully
framing.
complete this base.
That's very interesting framing. You feel like you have a responsibility to learn a pitch accent. I admire that sense of duty, but I do think it's a bit misplaced. It's like trying to learn how to aim a firearm when you haven't cleaned it out yet. You haven't learned how it works.
I mean,
If you're trying to fire bullets with a gun, you can do that. It's gonna be sloppy. If you know how it works first, then it's a lot easier and it functions properly, right?
The
It's
thing
a bit of a bad analogy though, but you get the point.
I do feel like maybe sometimes I do feel like that maybe I'm getting a bit cocky because I've heard last year or 2 years ago with like VTubers I consumed a lot of Japanese, like, and that was like more active listening. I was actually paying attention to the streams and there were no subtitles, right? So I was able to pick more. And like I do feel like I've received quite a bit of input. So like maybe I'm getting a bit cocky and being like, yeah, now that I've learned the grammar, I can follow most of the things being said. It's just like, yeah, I'm lacking both vocabulary, which is what I was trying to fix, but then I'm also lacking pitch accent. The thing is, by the way I'm learning vocabulary, by misregarding pitch accent, it's like if I'm learning the stress and the words of English wrong, right? Say for example, lurking. Let's say every time I say to lurking, right? I'm gonna be lurking. I say I'm gonna be lurking.
Yeah,
right.
I can still. Yeah, it doesn't feel right. I hear you, but at the same time, anybody can understand what you're saying. They're just gonna think you have a weird accent.
But then that. I don't want it to become a bad habit that then it's impossible to fix. Because I've been there.
You don't want it to be a bad habit, is that so? I
Yes.
think you're putting a little too much credit. Pitch accents in Japanese are not so much like stress as in English.
Yeah,
they're similar but not as impactful.
Okay,
Also, welcome to the stream, Raitos SV.
Hola, Rayitos, ¿qué tal?
Is that all you can muster for your #1 fan?
It's actually
Come on,
one of
Raitos. Welcome to the stream, bucko.
He's actually one of my best friends, so I guess it was kind of rude. Espero que te haya ido bien el trabajo,
best
hombre.
friend?
I said one of the. That does include you, by the way.
I had a feeling.
Yes.
And now it's on the record.
Huh? What's that?
And now it's on the record. I will submit it as evidence.
Okay. I mean, if you want to clip it, by all means.
Dallas's confession has been added to the court record.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm gonna watch out for that cross-examination later.
Yeah, I did finish the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It was quite good.
Yeah, I also saw, okay, I know I usually don't agree very much on things with Soy Boy Gang Gang or Strawberry White Block, but he also rated quite high next to, like, Investigations, right? It's also, like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably up there with Investigations 2 as one of the better games in the series. No, I've not played Spirit of Justice.
Spirit of Justice is quite mixed. I enjoyed it. I can understand why people don't enjoy it.
Part of the strength of Chronicles is that it was written to be a 10 case game.
No.
As opposed to 5. Where, you know, in the early games, yeah. Mm-hmm. All the cases are tied into each other in Chronicles, all of them. All 10 of them.
Oh, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay, I'll be looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's good. I don't recall about how long it took me, but it's a good case, and it does a decent job of the voice acting is a little weak. I'll be honest. but that's just
Okay.
me. Like having British people try to say Japanese names is never a good idea. Just like a fat kid. Poor
Is
guy.
there a Japanese version you can listen to?
Yeah, you can switch to Japanese voices. Yes.
I'd much rather hear Igiyari.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice. I'll be looking forward to that at some point. Lately, I've not been playing that many games. I keep telling myself, yeah, once I learn Japanese, we'll see how that goes.
Yes, that's a good idea. I agree with your priorities here.
So, going back to pitchbacks and things, it's really what I wanted to talk about today, on the stream at least. That's why that's actually done. So, what I was thinking is doing the following, right? It's just, there are some videos and stuff, right? I'm gonna try to inform myself better, because I did inform myself enough to know about the, Heiman, Atamadaka, Nakadaka, right? I informed myself enough, and like, I've been trying to actively be listening to it. I am actively trying to, learn it and train my ear for that and get better at that. So I was just thinking of, like, before going to visual novel stuff, like taking a quick detour, like a week or two, maybe not that long actually, in which I look into some courses, some resources of pitchbacks, and some more of the rules, for example, like when two nouns combine, or like I have this cheat sheet for verbs, right? How it goes down, where it goes down, right? Depending on if it's down step or flat. Just try to be more aware of it in terms of all the rules, so that when I'm actively listening to it, if sometimes they do not, they're not the same, right? What I heard and what I looked up in the dictionary, right? Like here on the top right, I can tell if it's like, oh, I misheard it, or it's like, oh, in this case with this rule, it's different. Or maybe I could look into, hey, this is just because it's Kansai, or because this is because it's from Osaka or something, right?
I can't help but feel, because you did show that little cheat sheet on there, I can't help but feel this is
What?
Somewhat of a, I don't want to say like inaccurate, but it seems very inauthentic, or someone has codified the rules of how to do pitch accents for verbs and have written it down on a sheet to describe how the Japanese language works. But realistically, right? Human beings having conversations don't follow rules like that.
Yeah.
They don't have a sheet in front of them. They haven't memorized the pitch accents. It's all about feeling and context. When you're having a conversation with someone else, like we are right now.
Right.
I mean, for example, the way that I talk, and I noticed it in a few sentences back when I'm a little more casual, is I'll tend to drag out the ends of my words, especially when they end in like now, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know that I do that.
Yeah.
You don't care. It sounds like the word now to you, even though I'm not I'm not saying it correctly at all, according to whatever the Pope of English is.
Right.
I guess that's the Queen, technically, isn't it?
I guess I don't know. Anyway.
But realistically, right? The way that I ended up, I never read any cheat sheets on pitch or whatever. I never really even learned the rules at all. So maybe mine is just terrible, but it was pretty much exactly the same reason that I told you to put on Japanese voices when you were playing Shadowverse, is so you hear a bunch of people saying a bunch of different words in phrases that you're going to hear over and over and over and over and over again, so they're burned into your memory. Zetsubo no machie. Like, you don't need a rules cheat sheet to figure out how to say Zetsubo, right?
It's a wall.
Zetsubo no machie. Like, you just know. So because it's something you've heard over and over and over, and God knows how long. And this is something that when you have a friend who is fluent in Japanese, who you can have conversations like this with, that they will be able to guide you like, oh no, that sounds like it's from X area, maybe you should say it like this, and I'll call you out on it every time, like I did with you with the J's and the Y's.
Right.
And now you know it.
Yeah.
So
right now it's become natural, but because
it took
practice
a little effort,
hearing.
but
Yeah.
definitely less effort than what you're going through right now to learn it from the ground up, from a rule sheet, no
Well,
less.
no, this is more like a cheat sheet for like I made it a while ago and I never actually ended up using it.
Okay, well that's good in my opinion. I don't find those very helpful for learning how to speak,
Yeah.
as in how to enunciate your language.
Like my thought process was like, if I know the rules, like I can actually, when I'm actually actively listening to it, if sometimes doesn't make what I'm here doesn't really make too much sense based on what I know, I can double check and try to tune in my ear in a way, right? It's like, oh, I hear that this and it's this, like tune in, like almost like you're fine tuning a piano, right? Is that
I suppose so, but shouldn't you be focusing more on language comprehension right now, don't you think?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to have this become the Roast Dallas stream.
No, it's fine. No, so what I've been trying to do is like try to focus on more on like listening. I'm making
And
my.
I agree, that's the best way to do it, once you get the fundamentals down.
And that's why the visual novel was wrong. Not only because like it was slow and stuff, but because whenever I was relearning new words, I was reading it in my head, and probably I got a bunch of those with the wrong pitch accent because I don't quite fully grasp it just yet. And it's gonna be slow and it's painful, and because I'm not accustomed to listening as much when I'm reading, it's not gonna be a fluent. It's not gonna be fluent, basically. It's not gonna be like normal pauses and inflections people make, right? They're not gonna be there. So
yes,
what
you
I'm
will
trying
end
to
up sounding like a robot. That's true.
So I'm trying to make my stream shorter, where I just kind of focus on this basic kanji with like basic meaning and normal everyday words that I see everywhere, like the memo I showed you, and then I'll immediately jump more into like this immersion without subtitles more and more. That was my thought process. Like that's always gonna be good. It's just I'm gonna use some time of that stream every day for like a week or two to like try to fine tune pitch so that when I'm actually immersing, not only am I trying to catch on those inflections and things, like little things that add some flavor to the language, but also the pitch.
Generally, I agree with your thought process. I might suggest, for example, listening to, I don't know, finding some way to tune into a broadcast of the news, of Japanese news, from Tokyo.
Some podcast I found. Wait, これはなんだっけ？日本人年金ポッドキャストかな。
ポッドキャストにゃ or な？
ポッドキャストかな。
I
end up saying かな、なんか
Well, that sounds very Japanese to me.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure there's like some news here, NHK Radio News.
Okay, yeah, NHK News is probably a good one to listen to.
On my YouTube, I made it YouTube Japan, and I created a new account. That is it. Where I only follow Japanese stuff that mostly are like VTubers now, of course. But if I go to my front page,
once Dallas, always Dallas.
I do get recommended more stuff like news or Corona news, right? So I am trying to listen to more different types of things.
If Matt is the main reason you're looking into this, remember he's literally trying to sell you something.
Yeah, that's a really good point here. Yeah, it has gotten into my head, right? Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I tried to make that point earlier, but I guess I didn't make it clearly enough.
Right.
I agree with this, and I'm not. How do I put it, right? So, you know, I'm an attorney by trade. So when I talk to people and say, you know, look, knowing your civil rights and knowing, you know, how the law works and how society functions is really important for, you know, like being a good citizen, avoiding the law, that sort of thing. But realistically, right, as much as I can say and prattle on about all that, the underlying mechanisms aren't really that important. As long as the people grow up with a decent conscience and a sense of responsibility, they'll think about these things and they'll make the right choices. It doesn't matter, you know, because the rest is just so baked into our society that, you know, Americans are generally organized around the idea of freedom, for example. It's just natural. You don't need to. I mean, there can be perversions of what the word freedom means. I don't mean to turn this into a political stream, but I'm just trying to get to a point. The people who are very intimately familiar with stuff recognize the complexities and think that everyone else needs to learn it. And while I do, you know, have some, you know, I obviously fall into that trap as well. As an attorney, I think that a lot of people don't understand how the law works to their own detriment. Mostly those who don't have a, well, you know, the ones who end up in jail all the time. Though realistically, teaching them law would probably only teach them better how to skirt it. It wouldn't change the underlying problem. But again, I don't want to turn this into a political stream.
Yeah.
So, where exactly was it going with that? Yes, experts want to sell you their own trade because it promotes their relevance, and it's not necessarily malicious or intentional. It's just how it is. It's just natural, human. You know. I agree with Taraj's analysis there, or should I say T-Terra J42.
So actually, I just remember the final point why this got into my head a little bit. Is I realized what kind of Japanese I've been using lately, because I've been so much into streaming Japanese, listening to Japanese streamers and podcasts because I'm doing other chores, and or watching anime because I'm hanging out with friends or because it's my pastime. I really don't have that much of a chance to like actually read manga or like write at all or play a game in Japanese reading it. So the audio aspect suddenly became much more of a focus.
As it should. Writing should come second.
Yes. So
because you can figure out how to write something later. Learning how to understand the language is now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, at the end of the day, I
think you're correct. Yes.
At the end of the day, I'm basically doing something that is eventually going to end up being beneficial in a which is focusing more on the audio and spoken aspect of the language, and so less visual novels. I mean, this basic kanji practice and try because it will still be fun, and I'll be able to engage with some Japanese people through my chat because that happens sometimes. But then cutting the stream short so I can jump into more immersion and more listening, active listening.
I see.
So maybe I will waste a month trying to get better with pitch, but later on, it's gonna be okay. I do not intend to go and buy his program. I do not intend to go and buy like Doggin's Patreon program as well. Mainly because I don't have the money. But
right.
Because I don't think
I wouldn't do it even if I had the money. You know.
Yeah. In fact, there's plenty of resources. The thing is, this is such a niche topic almost that it's kind of hard to find proper resources. Like, I want audio resources so that I can listen to it and compare the pitch in a way, like, so that I can fine tune, right?
Well, Dallas, I'll tell you, there is a very cheap resource that you can use that will give you all the information you need on pitch accents. There's conversations with native speakers.
Yeah,
it's very simple.
That's what I'm gonna be trying to do. I actually installed earlier today Hello Talk. I don't know. I saw in the sponsors video and I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it. And I like more interactions. And I already listen to Japanese streamers, and I'm trying to slowly but surely comment more, right? Chat more, and be a bit more active.
Maybe I would recommend something that's more like I hazard to even utter the name, but something like a VR chat on a Japanese server, so where you can just run around and talk to people.
Yeah.
In pseudo anonymity, you know?
Yeah. Actually, I also thought of that. There's this streamer, I96, iSun actually. He actually has done that on stream, and he says he's done that quite a bit. Although sometimes he does find like weirdos and stuff. Some days are better than others.
Well, yeah, but just like real life.
Yeah.
Once you find a couple of friends, add them to your friends list, and just chat every so often, you know?
Yeah.
Meet up at your favorite spot or whatever, it's fine. Of course, their hours are going to be way different than yours. If you're lucky, you'll get some hikikos who will hang around with you at God knows what hour at night over there.
Yeah. No, that's usually what I do start my streams at like 10 your time, and some people do show up at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
I'm curious as to what your program there says about how hikikomori is supposed to be pitched.
Pitched?
Pitched, yeah. How the word is supposed to be pitched.
Oh, hikikomori.
Yes.
It's usually in the dictionary. Hikikomori.
Hikikomori. So.
I don't see it yet.
引きこもり
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, I have the OGAAD dictionary. Bookmark. Oh, it's just everyone. Hikikomori.
So flat, yeah. Sounds about right.
So, I guess really what's being bothering me is like I have many ways of fine-tuning my ear, but not how I speak. So I'm almost kind of desperate for some feedback on that, to the point where I even turn the way I say the words sometimes, right, to like songs, because managing pitch in songs does make it easier. So like kantan, right, that kind of thing. To try to get used to it in a way, because that's like I'm just coming up with as many gimmicks as possible to properly train. It's driving me crazy. Like I know I'm overthinking this like way too much, and I shouldn't.
Yes, you are.
But like between those mistakes I've been making when listening in anime, and those mistakes I've been noticing from my voice, well, like they're different. Why it's different? They've been piling up, but it shouldn't be bothering me this much. It shouldn't be bothering me this much.
It should not. No, I agree with you.
So,
3 languages, damn. Also, nice chat rule. Don't piss me off.
That's my one chat rule. Yeah. Welcome
With
to
no
stream.
apostrophe, no less. I see we didn't teach you English well enough, did we?
God damn it! No, not again.
I thought this wasn't going to be the Roast Dallas stream, but it seems it's an inevitability.
But yeah,
Falling towards the center of a black hole, I come to crush you, Dallas.
Oh jeez. No, it's fine. You already bashed me enough. I feel like every week you correct at least like one thing. Actually, lately not so much, but the other week
it's
there
mostly
was.
just advice recently.
Yeah, pretty good, solid advice. By the way.
Or explaining some random crap like that's a folk song
Oh well,
that we know from America.
like as much as I eventually kind of forget them, they're like fun little curious things, right? I do enjoy them.
That's good.
But yeah, welcome to stream. Today I'm gonna make it shorter than usual. Usually I stream every mornings, but what days exactly? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Actually no, Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays I'm gonna be streaming at this time. We were just discussing a bit how to, what my approach to Japanese study is gonna be from now on, because I finished the Taikin grammar guide. Lately, pitch accent has been bothering me a lot, and yes, Taylor was right, mainly because of Math versus Japan. It didn't have a big impact. So yeah, I'll be focusing on that for like the next week or so, but that's it. Not much more than that. And you probably think that's still too much, right? But
I honestly, this is probably just ignorance is bliss, though, from my perspective, because it was never something that I devoted even a minute of study towards,
Right.
formally at least.
So actually, the way I
All
heard
I've
it,
done is emulate what I've heard, and I've been fine. So I don't really see why I would have to break it down into memorizable rules by which to correct my pitch, so to speak.
right? Yeah, that's fair.
Especially when the well, I say Spanish, but the Japanese that I learned comes from, you know, it's the normal version, the imperial, I guess, whatever term they use.
Right.
The Tokyo Japanese, right? The one that's used in everything.
Yeah,
It's the
then
same way for
standard.
Spanish. Like, you can't go wrong, because my Spanish professor in high school was Colombian. Colombian Spanish is very easy to understand and very straightforward. It makes it difficult to listen to any other accent. Well, not any other, but Mexican can be difficult. Puerto Rican and Chilean are impossible, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, Argentinian is fine. Just make a few substitutions, right? Like, why do you pronounce
Shavi.
double L's as J? I guess it's just
No,
a quirk,
it's
you know?
Shaw.
Right?
Yeah, it's
Me
really
llamo.
funny. We're always making fun of that. If you don't like Argentinian friends, it's really common to make fun of that when you hear someone from Argentina say that.
Mm-hmm.
Me llamo esto boludo.
Yep, it's definitely odd. I'll give him that. But in any event, you know, as long as you have a strong foundation, you emulate someone who is comprehensible, you really can't go wrong. I don't think.
So I actually read on another Japanese learning streamer, I guess. Words. Someone in the chat, probably more advanced than either of us, said like, pitch accent is fine. Like half the battle is knowing it's there. Like once you know it's there and you're aware of it, you don't really have to study it that much until like later on if you want. And that's how she put it. And at first I thought it was okay, and I was doing that, but the more like, I have not even made that many mistakes when hearing. It's been like I could count it in one hand. I think it's been like 4 or 3. But
and why do you think you have a problem with it?
Because I always feel like tone deaf, right? And sometimes I feel like
Don't stare into the abyss, Dallas.
sometimes I feel like I cannot mimic things, and then when I'm really on those really bad days and I'm feeling bad, I feel like because of how clogged up my nose is, and I always sound like I'm sick, like my voice is awful, I cannot hear properly, I cannot talk properly, and then I get really down, and the next day I forget it, because it's not that bad. It's really not like that.
Right.
Like that's the problem. That's my biggest problem in life. That I understand everything in a logical way, and I properly understand it. But somewhere in my emotion, it says, "Nah, fuck you." It's gonna bother you. But why? I already rationalized
right there,
it.
Isn't it? It's a lack of confidence, isn't it?
I guess so. Yeah.
Who cares what you sound like to them? As long as they understand what you mean, and if they don't understand what you mean, then they're wrong. You have to go into life with that self-confidence.
Again, it's this wall I talked about earlier. I don't like that wall.
America, we're better than you.
Like, I honestly, right now, as much as I enjoy, like I maybe one day I would like to learn like something like German, Italian, or French. Those are like the other 3 I could be interested in, if not Korean.
I think 3 honestly is probably enough. If you were younger, you could probably do more, but this is pushing it, don't you think?
Yeah, so like I want this to be my 3rd and final language almost, because then I'm gonna be focusing my career. I'm gonna be focusing on other things I wanna do, and then eventually at some point family, right?
Yeah,
and I guess that's part of it why I'm going so hard and so focused and so dedicated. So if I want to learn this, I kind of almost feel like this pressure of like learning it properly. Again, that's why that sense of responsibility we talked about earlier.
Yes, but put your efforts into things that are going to yield more results.
I mean, at the end of the day, the effort is gonna be more listening, and that is never bad, is it?
True, but if your attention is spent on pitch as opposed to, even just the confidence of understanding, okay, I understand what was said, and I can repeat it and demonstrate it, and finding avenues in which to actually express and practice your Japanese with an active audience, not just chatters, though the chat is much appreciated, but with actual human beings who can give you active feedback and whose opinions you trust.
Actually, that's also that has been bothering me lately, because I started a stream and that's cool and all, and I watch streamers and that's cool and all, but where do I find communities? Like, it went to a point where I looked up, okay, in Japanese communities in Ontario, and I got like something of culture, of Japanese culture into like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, not quite.
No, that's not how it works. So, Discord, yes.
Well, now, there are some more surreptitious options you could do.
Surreptitious? Huh? What's that?
Surreptitious, yes. Look up things that people who are Japanese would do that other communities would not. Things like that. Now, the obvious example would be something like, I mean, it would be definitely something you wouldn't want to do, but, oh, we're on ads, aren't we?
Are we? They're automatic. There's not much I can do about that. Yeah, I guess we are. Yeah, let's chill for a moment. I'll drink a bit.
That's fine. I think I'm just gonna cut back in and saying, and that's how I met your mother or something, but...
That'd be pretty funny. Not gonna lie.
Like
so that show's ending is trash, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's awful. I love the show. I grew up with it. I loved it.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that its ending was absolute garbage, wasn't it? I remember hearing about how awful it was, but I never watched it myself.
It's really awful.
Discord.
Yeah. Like I actually joined some streamers' Discords, right? Like a couple, two or three, but people don't really just voice chat. That's the issue.
That's true, yes. Again, I would suggest joining in a foreign server in some sort of casual chatting, meeting people kind of place, That's one thing you can do. Other things, try to find like a shogi club or something.
Actually, I'd be so down for that. I actually
know, but you gotta find things that are going to be limited to your target populace. You might not find them, but you're in Quebec. There's got to be something.
Quebec? No.
Or, sorry, Ontario.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're in Quebec, you'd be worrying about France and the secession from Canada, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming, Dallas. Just about as probable as California's going to secede from the Union.
Listen, Quebec doesn't exist for me. It's like a completely different world that I don't want to fuck with.
So it's like Chicago, got it.
Yeah.
Pretty close, too.
Okay. Yeah, right. As you can see, there's some pixels and stuff here. Yeah.
I do want to reiterate though. Pitch accent, probably not the best time to be learning it. Being aware of it's fine. And again, I never really studied it either. I turned out okay. But again, most of my translation work was all written. It wasn't audio or anything. I'm told that my Japanese is comprehensible. But again, how much of that is them just being nice?
Right. That also may be another reason why I'm so scared. Because I also looked into a lot of the culture, right? I told you that I binged like Kira Sensei videos and stuff. I looked into it, then learned about Honne and Tatemae and a lot of things, and it scared me almost. Like, wow, every people I meet is gonna be fake, so. Because I'm just gonna be trash anyway. I'm never gonna get it.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Like,
that's really the problem.
So you don't wanna know what the problem is that I think? I'm never gonna meet a Japanese Karim. tells me, okay, listen up, Del, straight up, this is how you properly say shit.
That sounded like pretty good pronunciation to me. I don't know. No, you would really need to have built up a relationship with somebody like that.
Yeah.
And that's still possible, but you know,
it's gonna be harder. There's gonna be more friction, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not friction. The whole point of the mindset there is to reduce friction. But that's the problem. You want the friction because that smooths you out.
No, but I'm trying to reduce the friction, and then whatever's left can be smoothed out. Although never gonna be perfect, but right?
No, see, Dallas, you're misunderstanding, right?
Okay.
You're not Japanese, right?
Yeah.
And
no,
I get this a lot, right? Because whenever I talk to native people, usually I'm one of the first Americans they've had the opportunity to talk with. So you know they'll want to try to. I know that sounds really weird, but it's true. You know, I've told you the stories about meeting people who actually clap. You know, like that.
Right, yeah.
When you're in person, yeah, do that sort of thing. You think, well, there's no way that could actually happen in real life. It does. Okay.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is when you they expect you to be a certain way. I don't know what their perceptions of Peruvians are, or in your case, Chileans or Hispanics or anything like that, right? Mm-hmm. But as far as an American goes, because I'm very obviously American, just the way that I speak, and again, probably from my accent, the lack of pitch accent knowledge or anything, that you probably figure it out fairly easily. Yeah. So they usually expect you to be fairly abrasive, opinionated, kind of like self-important, which is true of a lot of Northeastern Americans. You know, absolutely intentional offense Yankees, get better. Southern pride, but you know, it's sort of one of those things where they won't tell you, but they'll see, okay, you know, that I wasn't quite correct. This person actually is polite. They appreciate their family. They have the similar sort of values. You know, that sort of thing that they kind of grow on and expect, and then then you have the normal thing that comes with being close and friendly. Right. So you know, and as much as I'm knowledgeable that they're thinking of me that way, they're knowledgeable of that I'm thinking of them that way. Say what Japanese stereotypes they're relying on. You know, if an American is very brash and self-important, they're probably going to think that I'm too humble or too, you know, not necessarily fake, but conciliatory. That I'm hiding from them too much, and so I'm going to want to try and be more outgoing and more opinionated, to try and match them, because again, they're trying to reduce the friction too, so they want to try and adjust to you as much as you adjust to them. Now this is all, keep in mind, this is all stereotyping, but it's also informed from my actual interactions with
I mean,
with
to be fair, there's some truth in stereotypes, because it's the culture. It does have an effect. Anyway.
Yes, their stereotypes are definitely more true than there are false, in my experience. Right. Though, like I was saying earlier in the stream, you know, the ones who actually know English are generally less conciliatory. They don't do things that way. They're more Americanized, I guess. So they're more upfront, and they'll ask you more questions, and they won't just go, so, you know, the whole time.
Right, what I'm doing right now.
Well, that's because I'm nattering on. You don't want to interrupt me. I understand. As I do to you. I try not to interrupt you, but that's just Southern courtesy. Yanks listen.
Yes. Well, it's also the flow of the conversation, but that's a completely different thing.
Yes, the unstoppable river meets the poor salmon, known as Dallas, trying to swim desperately at the shore only to get mauled by a grizzly. A truly sad and harrowing tale.
Okay. おはよう、田中さん。今はイントネーションのことを話していました。
喋ってるそう。
そう、喋る、話す、どっちでもいいですよね。 It's okay, right, to use either or, I guess, in this case.
I have no idea what you just said in English.
Well, I was trying.
Those words kind of blended together a bit.
Oh, there, everything blended together. It's like it doesn't matter if I use like hanas or shaberu, right? In this case, because
Hanasu is like talk, shaberu is chat. So
I thought
I use them that way.
I got the complete opposite one. Someone eventually corrected me because I said like, 日本語を喋れない, right? And I was like, no, you should be using 話せない. They're like, oh.
Yes, that's correct.
And then, okay. 喋っていました.
Yes, it would be 話せない would be I cannot speak. So, I cannot speak Japanese, I cannot speak English. It's the same analog. If you're used to shaberu, it's just to have a conversation. It's not about your competency necessarily to speak or to convey words through the act of talking. It's just the talking itself. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Chat versus speak is probably the best way I could analogize it.
Yeah, I kind of get it. I kind of get it now. I just had it backwards, funnily enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, 最近のイントネーションのことをすごく気になりましたかな。気になってきました。It's like, in a way. That probably sounds... Yeah, I guess.
気になりました makes the most sense to me.
どんな努力を、なんというか、I just say like how much effort to put into it. I wouldn't know. Although in this case, thankfully, Lav-san has pretty good English. Like I've watched his streams playing Apex, pretty good English, so he probably understands in a way. But yeah, Pixar has been bothering me. We've been talking about it for like the past hour and a half or so. Well, mostly like past hour.
Lovka then seems like a good person to try and have these sorts of conversations with if you are fairly familiar with them. Is that not right?
Yeah, if only my PC run Apex, I'd be so down to play Apex with like with Japanese. I'd be so down, no matter how much like have on my PC.
You really can't run it?
Ponkatsu, hi. So I upgraded, except
it's a piece of junk, yeah.
That's one way to localize it. So I upgraded most of the things, but the graphics card actually got worse. Which means when I'm trying to run virtual machines and do a lot of cybersecurity testing and stuff and run code, it's perfect. But when it tries to run Apex, which is a poorly optimized game on Steam and on Origin is also awful, it will just kind of crash. My graphics card will just not take it.
I see. Well, let me put it this way then. Do you not have an esports team at your college?
College is completely it closed completely today because of a snowstorm, and it won't really have in-person classes until February, so there's barely no one gonna be around. But I think there is. I looked into it, but what
I'm getting at. Sorry to interrupt. I know I just talked about that, but
let's go.
What I'm getting at is, see, my alma mater has an esports team, and there are also computers that are available to the general public, or not the general public, the student populace that you can use. So I'm wondering if there's a similar situation there where they just have some moderately powerful computers set up that you can use.
Maybe. I know where the esports building is, and I believe it's shared between, and where I'm at, there's basically two colleges, and they're almost like kind of shared. Some buildings and shared and stuff. And I'm pretty sure there's a shared building for esports stuff. I could enter
go in
and
there
ask.
And ask.
Sure, I suppose. I guess I can do that. It also sounds kind of weird and almost embarrassing to be like speaking with garbage Japanese. There.
Dallas, you can't possibly get any more embarrassing. I told you this was the Roast Dallas stream.
It really
You're putting
is.
this all out on live on the internet.
Okay,
You're a
so-
VTuber watcher, you're a huge weeb, blah blah blah. What is the worst that's in broken Japanese while playing Apex in a computer lab gonna do to you?
Fair enough, fair enough.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, so there's one thing. I'm not that embarrassing. People have complimented on this Pikachu keychain, okay? Like 4 times already. Let's go. That also
don't
means...
don't distract. Don't change the topic.
Fine. You got me.
I know. You guys have esports club in your college that's jealous, man. Yeah, actually, it was my idea to start it. But I was an alumnus, so I couldn't start it myself, and I'm trash at the esports games.
Yeah,
so I suggested it, and now we have a burgeoning esports program in my alma mater.
I was only decent at League, because I put a lot of time of it in high school, but nowadays...
Well, yeah, but you're younger than I am, so that's fair. But I figured that since you're at a major university, they would have an esports team, and they would also have some computers lying around.
I could actually ask the net, because it's actually on my way to the convenience. I also, by the way, I completely gave up on calling it convenience store or whatever. I just call it convenience because it's faster and easier. It's on my way to there, so next time I have to go, I guess I could just stop by for a moment and be like, hey, could I use your PC sometime for like an hour to play some Apex, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, and if they give you guff, just tell them you have an attorney. It's fine. I'm not allowed to represent you, though, I'm afraid, so...
Yeah, I'm not in Canada, right?
Nope, I have no authority to practice law in Canada.
Unfortunate.
Oh, it's definitely not unfortunate, it's intentional.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Why would I want to fly up to Ontario to work there?
To meet me! Yeah, let's go!
Oh, I'm not gonna work there. I'd just go for fun.
Yeah.
But I'd rather you come down here because it's more convenient and it's also warmer.
Yeah, I do want to save up some money in summer. Go to, what is it, MagFest? Meet like Tara and Rish, or maybe meet you.
And where is it this year?
I have no clue. Actually, this year it was just on Monday in January.
I mean, when or where? Where?
No,
I'm sorry.
Where? No clue. No.
See, look, Dallas, you're already getting offers.
Yeah. I'd be glad. I'd be glad. Yeah. I mean, right now, like again, because I'm.
Onegaishimasu. So.
Right. Because I'm focusing on such nonsense stuff, right? And my ability to properly talk and converse is not very good.
Dallas, they I'm sure I can speak for Lufka here to some extent, but they will just be happy that you're trying.
I mean,
as I am when I hear them trying to speak to me in broken English, and by them I mean anybody. I appreciate that they're trying to, you know, and that they're bearing their embarrassing self to me in confidence, especially if it's the first time meeting them, because there's no way that could be comfortable, you know. Oh my goodness, I'm getting calls out the wazoo today. Give me a moment.
Yeah, okay. はい、よかったな。お願いします。Yeah, sure. And Discord, I guess. Sometimes we can just chat. On Discord, I guess. Yeah, I'd be so down. I'd be so down. Like lately, as I'm saying, intonation すごく気になりました。一瞬大したことじゃないけど I feel like I have to, almost like a duty or responsibility. I don't know, we've been talking about it all stream and I'm relaxed about it. ちょっと安心しました。この配信のおかげで。でもまだちょっと気になる。
That was
まあ
quick.
それだけじゃない。ただ普通のお話は大丈夫です。はい、お願いします。
You're definitely close. Again, I feel like at this point, you know, I don't know, I'm not really I don't have enough knowledge or experience to really give you advice on Japanese at this point, right? But this is the part, if I were that sort of person, where I wouldn't really interrupt and say anything, because the important part is that you're actually speaking and you're actually doing something. Someone else can guide you gently and with more authority than I can. My role's basically finished. You've already picked up the slack, so.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, I went from being really bad to being where I'm at now, where I'm actually a proper adult. Like, I'm actually doing my laundry myself. I sort of kind of cook and buy stuff, and I'm properly a proper student. On top of that, I'm actually focusing extra efforts on studying Japanese.
And I'm quite proud of you. Well done.
Thank you. No, like, really, thank you. No clue how much that meant to me. Let's get on our 自然な日本語を覚えたいよね。わかるよ。はい。そう、そんな感じ。Yeah, I kind of got most of it. Also, I feel like I'm cheating every time I use this extension. Can you see it on stream? This is a godsend, by the way.
What is that?
It's called Yomi-chan. It basically, if you hold shift and go over a kanji, it will give you the meaning, right? The translation, the pitch accent, and everything you need to know.
Oh, that's very nice.
But yeah, Naoka-san, what would you like to talk, just on Discord or something? I don't know. Are you in my Discord? Do you have a Discord I can join? I usually don't pay too much attention to that when I'm watching streams, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, you're a bit busy, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up and listen to. If not, I'm doing something else while trying to immerse, right?
To be fair, we have been chatting for about an hour, and you have not gotten much studying done.
Today, the thing is, I did my study in the morning. I did most of my flashcards. Today, I just wanted to pick up again Heisek, because I was doing the visual novel stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be learning a lot of kanji and vocabulary from that. I don't need Heisek anymore. But it's fun. I again wanna be working on this and thing. Oh, you don't have your own server. Okay. Well,
join his.
Yeah, you can join mine. Yokattara. Like anytime. I don't know when's good for you. I don't know. Like, heck, even when I'm streaming, I'd love to have more people here on the stream. When I'm just like doing some nonsense kanji, I feel like more people could learn from it. はじめまして。1ヶ月の勉強で言葉の発音が自然に聞こえます。すごいと思います。
See, I told you.
ありがとう。まあ、ありがとう。それは多分私はスペイン人のおかげです。似てますと思います。似てると思います。はい、ありがとう。
上手ね。
まあ、これからちょっとだけイントネーションのことを勉強したいですけど、ちょっとだけ1時間半くらいでイントネーションのことを喋っていました。まだそんなに気になります。いや、まだじゃなくて、今そんなに気になりました。いや、God damn it, dude. It doesn't bother me.
You're catching on your own brain. Just speak. If it's wrong, they'll tell you.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm about to be busy as well. I'm gonna be ending the stream. But yeah, actually tomorrow, Tuesday, I don't have any class. So we could just like hang out every Tuesday. 毎週の火曜日はどうですか？火曜日はどうですか？漢字もスムーズ、はい。じゃないですか、すごい。まあ、漢字はすごく好きです。でも、 漢字を勉強しすぎました。Something like that. だから私の文法と言い方はまだ良くないですと思います。だからこれから私の配信を短くなるかな。短くなりますと、後でいっぱい日本語を聞きたい。アニメでテラスハウスや他の人、日本人と話や、はい、そのこと。
Don't forget that you can add koto to basically the end of anything and it makes it better.
Yeah, こと。
話すこと。
そう、話すこと。I'm also used to using no, 話すのは。Right?
Yes, that one's easy as well, but it sounds less natural in my mind than 話すこと or something.
そうですか？ありがとう。
I do not know why, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, you probably have more experience in that. ラジオ聞くも良いかもですね。はい、最近、ポッドキャストとか調べていました。でも、関西圏で見つけました。それは多分良くない。
大変だね。
そうです。だから、ニュースポッドキャストとか、ニュース動画も YouTube で、ケレブさんは勧めました。ケレブさんは他の人。
私はケレブさんです。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
ありがとう。Yeah, sure, no problem. Like, 私はもう大学生ですから、すごくわかります。大丈夫です。
問題なし。
はい、問題ないし。いや、いつかいいです。はい、いつかいいですか？ただ、Discord をメッセージをします。俺は罠です。笑いは罠です。わかりません。すみません。Also, I've been I've realized over time I've been picking up mannerisms like bowing, trying to be humble, and well, you've already heard the Nanka and hi. I've been those have come in a lot. Maybe it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But yeah, 2時間ぐらいで配信をしていましたから、今日の配信を終わりたいと思います。毎日配信しますけど、なんというか、いや、スケジュールがあります。ちょっと待って。Twitter に、なんというか、I forgot how to say upload. でも、はい、これは私のスケジュールです。
Yeah, I never really learned that sort of technical language, I'm afraid. I usually hear it referred to as up.
お笑い系のラジオは綺麗な日本語ではないと思います。なるほど。なるほど。確かに。Okay. So I should probably not be here. I did find one humor program and I should probably not listen to it. はい、ありがとう。確かに。Yeah, so like...
Starting with humor is tough.
Yeah, actually I put on the other day a humor show and they started doing like voices like, I'm talking way like this and like, you know, at some point, right, I'm making things like funny and stuff and it's probably, yeah, not the best way. 確かに、はい、ありがとう。割りからに失礼しました。いや、大丈夫です。はい、と。
You should add each other as friends, should you not?
He actually joined my Discord. 急には、なんで Why are there 9 people watching me? Usually it's like 3. I hate it.
They came for me, Dallas.
Thank
They
you.
smelt the roasting Peruvian and came.
はい、リードしましょうか。
This is a Carib stream, it is indeed.
It really is a Carib stream.
Back after a long hiatus. No, I don't mean to distract or anything. It's been a pleasure.
You're here for the echo music. Thanks for the OC remix recommendation, by the way, too. It was great. So this streamer I've not seen very much. They seem to be pretty cool. Am I getting an ad? I'm getting an ad.
No,
it
just
seems
says
they-
thanks for watching.
Yeah, no, but I'm not gonna show anything. Just for hosting and stuff. はい、ホストしましょう。I don't like doing raids because I'm shy. But yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, はい。見に来てくれて本当にありがとう
Yo,
ございま
Dallas
す。
salute in the chat.
お疲れ様でした、皆さん。はい、また今度。はい。So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. I'll be hosting this person. They seem cool. Pretty sure they also know some English. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. はい。次の配信は、今日の夜、はい、日本で。それは私、明日の朝。はい。ありがとう。はい、またね。ありがとう。バイバイ。